So I'm back again with part 2, and I'm just continuing where I left off. Namely that when I went to, if you could call it a high school, it's more of a pilot program for kids who, when it started out, were models, actresses, mayor's sons, whatever. So people that whose kids already had, elementary school, they already had that, but now they were on a fast track to college or whatever, or maybe their parents just wanted them to have more time for their family business or to pursue whatever. Normal kids, but Jehovah's Witness kids would go to this pilot program so that they could have as minimal contact with people in the outside world as possible. And they will swear up and down that this is not their goal, but their organization's literature directly preaches this separatist policies. As a child, it really affected me to the point that growing up, I became shy. I became withdrawn. I sensed that I would have probably been a very gregarious and happy child, but I became very antisocial. I drew myself into my books and my writing and my poetry, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm an aspiring writer right now. So for that, that is the one positive thing that I can draw from all of it, is that it really gave me a voice. When I finally did start to speak up, when I finally did start to come out of my shell, I had a lot to say. I would have to say that there was a lot of abuse in my home, which the elders did nothing about, did not investigate. It wasn't sexual abuse, but it was violence, verbal and physical. I had a very abusive older brother. That's a whole nother story right there. I'll probably put it on video sometime in the future about my family life growing up. But right now I'm focusing on what the Jehovah's Witnesses did, and it really makes it hard for a Jehovah's Witness child to grow up as normal. Everyone probably knows that Jehovah's Witnesses do not celebrate any holidays. So they don't celebrate Christmas, they don't celebrate birthdays, they don't celebrate Easter, they don't celebrate St. Patrick's, Halloween, none of it. In fact, they don't even celebrate Mother's Day or Father's Day or New Year's. So every holiday is out. The only holiday they celebrate is the very cheerful and wonderful holiday commemorating Jesus Christ's death. So, whoopee, every child wants to celebrate death. I will have to concur here with C.S. the Apostate when he talks about the My Book of Bible Stories, because that book is the most depressing children's book. They call it a children's book I have ever seen. And it's, the Jehovah's Witnesses talk about violence. Don't watch violence. Don't encourage violence in your house. Well, they should have come to my house for one. My goodness, such horrible violence was happening there, and we would go to the meetings and smile like nothing happened. I became so good at hiding my true feelings. And Jehovah's Witnesses, in a lot of ways, their belief systems teach you to, quote unquote, not bring reproach upon Jehovah's name, which basically means keep your mouth shut if anything bad is happening. If you're going to tell the elders about it, if they can't prove it with 2 or more witnesses, then it's slander. So you learn to keep your mouth shut at a very young age. If you have any opinions that go against what Jehovah's Witnesses believe at a young age, like I did, then you learn to keep your mouth shut. For me, I've always been a very strong, independent woman. And even when I was a very young girl, I never was comfortable with the misogynistic ways of a lot of the Jehovah Witnesses, whereas the men would do everything. You know, they would handle the mics, they would speak on the platform. The only time a woman could speak on the platform was if she was sitting in a chair facing another woman. She could not preside over a man or teach a man anything unless she was demonstrating some role or enacting some real life, quote unquote, fake acted out dramatization, I should say, of what might happen in real life from door to door in the witnessing work or something like that. Other than that, she was not allowed, a woman is not allowed to speak on the platform. A woman's allowed to go from door to door though and proselytize, but we cannot preach to the other men in the congregation from any position of authority. That bothered me probably from the time I was about 11 or 12. And I remember bringing it up to my mother, and her response was basically, "That's the way it is," which I'll go into in another movie. But right now I'm trying to just kind of introduce why my life was so horrible. Aside from the abuse, there was the isolation. I remember seeing kids play in the street, and we couldn't play, me and my sister couldn't play past our courtyard of our house. And we would watch other kids playing in the water with each other on summer days, or trading cards, or walking down the street riding bikes. My mother wouldn't even allow us to own a bike because she didn't want us to ride through the neighborhood and talk to the other kids. So I don't even know how to ride a bike to this day. So many things. There was a little boy and girl that used to have their brother and sister, and their rooms used to be on the side of the house where me and my sister's room was, and we would poke our head out the window. That was the only thing we could do. We would talk to them sometimes, and they would ask us to play, and we would say our mother won't let us, and they would say, "Why not?" We were like, "Well, because she doesn't like us to play with kids that aren't witnesses." And they were like, "What's a witness?" We were trying to explain it to them, and our young little immature naivety about how my parents believed. And it sounded crazy even to me at the time, but I figured that's just the way it was going to be. Well, my mother found out about it, and she went over there to their parents and told their parents not to let them talk to us through the window anymore, because she didn't think they were good association with us, because they weren't Jehovah's Witnesses. And when her parents found out about it, they called her parents hypocrites because of all the violence that was going on in their house and abuse. And not only that, but forbid their kids to talk to us, because they thought that, of course, our mom was wacko, which she was, for a lot of her beliefs. And so on an ending note, I would say that many Jehovah's Witness kids experience horrible, just mind-numbing isolation and loneliness. And they have a lot of social disorders. It took me years to get past them, years to have conversation like a normal person. If you told me 10 years ago that I would be having this conversation over YouTube, I wouldn't have even believed it. But here I am now. I broke free of a lot of my social inhibitions, and I'm moving ahead. But I'm telling this story because I think it needs to be told. There are a lot of young kids right now suffering through the same childhood that I had to go through. And if I can help one person by this video, or stop a person from suffering through that by never even getting in the cult in the first place, then I'm more than happy to do that. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions or comments, I look forward to trying to answer them. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed my video.